Welcome to the Clean Slate with your hosts, Daniel Garza and Carson Phillips, providing you with movie news, reviews, and more. Sit back, relax, and don't forget to go to the concessions to get your popcorn and drinks. For your entertainment, this is the Clean Slate Podcast.
Welcome back to the Clean Slate Podcast. I'm Carson Phillips. That guy over there is Daniel Garza. And tonight is a special night. Special because we're covering a special movie for this Christmas season, which is also very special.
Okay. Yeah. Well, guys, we have reviewed quite possibly the worst 6 movies in all of Christmas history. And we're going to start off with I don't know if this is the worst one, but we'll let you guys decide. Okay, so this one is Red One.
Bad Christmas movies.
Exactly. Okay, so Red One. After Santa Claus is kidnapped, the North Pole's head of security must team up with the world's most infamous bounty hunter in a globe-trotting, action-packed mission to save Christmas.
The hierarchy of the Christmas universe is about to change.
Yep.
This movie's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so plot-wise, we have a pretty dope Santa Claus, actually.
Yeah.
Who it's played by oh my gosh, Whiplash.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yes, thank you. He's here. He's kicking butt as Santa Claus. He's super strong somehow. But he ends up getting kidnapped by a Christmas witch who may be working with someone very close to Santa, but we don't know yet. Close in a German sense. And furthermore, The Rock is his bodyguard, and he's pissed off because he needs to get Santa Claus back because Christmas is coming, and it's bad. There's a mad polar bear even who's like, yo, Christmas is ruined. But it turns out the reason Santa Claus was able to be found and kidnapped is one very naughty Chris Evans committed a crime that basically he got some kind of hacking details. It doesn't make any sense. But he gets the information so people can find Santa Claus and kidnap him. And now he's forced to work with The Rock to find out who's kidnapped Santa Claus. What can we do to get him back? And there's action. There's evil snowmen. There's all kinds of stuff. And a lot of dumb movie making.
All right, well, now we know how you feel about it. Okay, so let's talk about our likes and dislikes.
Oh, gosh, okay. You go first.
Okay, so likes, I'm going to say, is just... For the most part... Well, okay, one, it's a stacked cast. You got a lot of good actors in there. I know
you like The Rock.
Like The Rock. You have like a bent against him, and I have a bent towards The Rock. I think he's fun.
You like that he pees on bottles for this movie?
Yes.
On would be crazy.
And then you got Chris Evans, you got Nick Kroll, you got Mary Elizabeth Ellis, you got J.K. Simmons, obviously, and Bonnie Hunt, which is kind of funny to see her as Mrs. Claus. So a lot of good, yeah, it is a lot of good actors in this overall. I will say the idea and the lore behind all of this, I actually kind of liked. I thought the setup was really cool. The new like technological Santa Claus and everything that was coming through. I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool. I like this. As the movie progressed, it just became a whirlwind of too much drama. Anyway, that's my dislikes. But the action is pretty cool. I like the action in it. CGI wasn't horrible, so I think those are all pretty notable things to like about the movie.
Okay. Yeah, my likes pretty much begin with the lore. I think it is interesting to have this kind of Santa. It's not something we haven't seen before, but it's still fun regardless. But they do throw in, like, the elves are kind of more goblin-y. That's kind of fun, I guess. And then there's a talking polar bear. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The talking polar bear. There's also, like, the lore of, like, all the mythological creatures or, like, folklore creatures do exist. Yeah, Krampus, and then even the Headless Horseman's in this for like a brief cameo. So that's kind of fun in that sense. And I like Chris Evans a lot. I think he's a fun actor, and you can tell he's having a good time with this movie, even though I don't know if he thinks it's a good movie. I'm assuming he doesn't, but but I think he had a great time. Yeah, that's where my likes end.
You know, it kind of reminded me of the Adam Project, like when Ryan Reynolds was just like on a hype of a lot of good movies, and then all of a sudden he takes on the Adam Project.
What other good Ryan Reynolds movies?
Well, there's the hit of Deadpool 2, and then Adam Project came out like maybe a year or two after it, but he was in a decent amount of movies. Like,
yeah, and they're all bad
and whatnot. Well, okay, we'll leave that for the viewers. Anyway,
yeah.
So, yeah, to go into dislikes, I think the plot just is so much because they try to compact all of Christmas lore together. It just becomes way too much. You're like, okay, wait, what? And that was the biggest thing I hated about it, is just you end up doing too much. J.K. Simmons at this point is barely in the movie, which isn't fun because he's just like such a good actor, and I was very interested. Yeah, I was very interested in seeing him be a Santa. I don't know if that was for budget reasons or what, but
this movie had a massive budget.
Oh, okay. Well, then I was very disappointed to not see him in it that much.
You should actually pull up the box office. I'm curious, budget to performance, what that ratio is going to be. But yeah, I agree. Like, I wish he was still in this movie more.
Holy crap!
It's a flop, right? Massive flop.
It is massive flop. Okay, so.
Okay, before you say it, I just got to talk about my dislike is directly tied to this.
Okay.
This movie has an astronomical budget, right?
Yeah.
You can say that number now.
$350 million.
But this movie has no soul. It has a bunch of money. It exists solely for the purpose of them trying to make a Marvel DC comic book movie with The Rock, because that's probably what he wanted. And that's my biggest issue with it. I mean, obviously the tone is all over the place. I can't tell if this is made for children or adults or I can't say that word I want to say. Dumb people with no brain.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah, ultimately this movie's stupid because of that. And I don't know if The Rock had to say in that, but I feel like he did, because that tends to be where his projects go. How much money did it make?
So, opening weekend, $32 million, which it's like, okay, you would expect like $114 million opening weekend. Gross U.S. and Canada, $77 million, so not that great of a bump. Gross worldwide, $150 million, so barely over half.
Wow.
Yeah, that is horrible.
Good. Maybe studios will learn their lesson. It's just not a Christmas movie either. Like, it just doesn't feel Christmassy, despite like the Christmas aspects. Not that the other movies we have coming up are that Christmassy either, despite being Christmas movies. So there's that. But yeah, I just can't. I hate that. Like, egregiously spending money on a movie that you know is not gonna be like, it's like there's no art involved in this. Yeah, I mean, do you have any final thoughts about this? I mean, it's not great. It was enjoyable enough to watch in theaters, but I must confess I almost walked out.
Yeah, after the beach scene with Nick Kroll,
which was a fun scene. The snowman fight was kind of fun.
I think the movie actually was doing really well up until that point. And then once we got to the Krampus, and once we got to... I think it had a lot of potential. And it's sad to say, though, that, like, after that part, I was just like...
This has nothing on Arthur Christmas, you know? Like, that, if you want an action-packed, futuristic Santa film, that's the one.
It has nothing on the Otter... Is that what that is, Arthur Christmas? The Otter Christmas movie we watched?
Emmett Otter? Emmett Otter slaps,
Emmett
dude.
Otter is what leaps and bounds.
Gets you in the soul. Watch that instead.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well, we don't have that many great movies, but we do have a special coming up. Both of our wives have picked two movies. It's okay. Have picked two movies to be in the Christmas special. So we will be watching those as well. And
I didn't know we were married. That's crazy. We got wives
to each other. Yeah, we are. Each other. Could you imagine? Anyway, guys. So we will be back next week for another episode of the Clean Slate Podcast Christmas special.
Deuces, baby.